Welcome to the Global Quickie. I'm Michael Brooks. On the Global Quickie, I take a global issue, break it down for you, give you some greater context for understanding it. On this edition of the Global Quickie, Israel's justice minister in Europe has compared criticism of Israel to anti-Semitism. Now, this is a common trope among Israeli officials, defenders of Israel at all costs. Throwing out the accusation of anti-Semitism is a regular feature of discourse related to Israel. And let's say really clearly up front, sometimes people who criticize Israel are anti-Semitic. And sometimes people who criticize Israel give in to crude and unfortunate and non-strategic comparisons and ways of speaking. So, without getting into it right now, some of the recent controversies in the UK's Labour Party involving the former London Mayor Ken Livingstone and others reveal, at the very least, in some cases, a profound tone deafness in how to talk about these issues. So there's valid criticisms. However, what the Israeli Justice Minister has done, and her name is Ayelet Shaked, has done is sort of exposed how incredibly cynical and breathtakingly far-reaching the accusation of anti-Semitism in this debate has become. And this is what she said. I'm going to quote her directly. She says, quote, "In the past, we saw European leaders speaking against the Jews. Now we see them speaking against Israel. It is the same anti-Semitism of blood libels, spreading lies, distorting reality, and brainwashing people into hating Israel and Jews." And she said this in an interview with the Washington Post. Now, she is a member of an extremist far-right party to the right of the Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, a prime minister who, let's be clear, has done nothing to implement anything serious involving a two-state solution, who absolutely functionally supports the practice of apartheid in the West Bank and an ongoing humanitarian catastrophe in Gaza. Shaked herself, before assuming a post in government, has even called for ethnic cleansing and mass killing of Palestinians. These are always going to be issues amongst people who support human rights and oppose racism. And there's no justification in specifically signaling Israel out. There's no justification in any shape and form of anti-Semitism whatsoever. But the reality is that Israel is a nation state, not a representation of an entire religion or ethnicity. It is a nation state and needs to be treated normally. And under normal conditions, its behavior is entirely unacceptable. And this cynical use of that trope undermines the threat from the real thing. Anti-Semitism is one of the most potent and dangerous forces in human history. And it makes Israeli leaders such as Shaked look craven, delusional, cynical, and opportunistic. Maybe because, unfortunately, all too often they are. And that's the Global Quickie, this edition of the Global Quickie. Hey, subscribe to my podcast I co-host with Phil McKinsey. It's called Two Dope Boys in a Podcast. It's a twice-weekly show that deals with trends, it deals with culture, it deals with race, it deals with music, where your future is going and why. We have a great crew of people with us. It's really entertaining. We just had Tucker Max on and a bunch of other really fascinating people. Go to 2dopeboyspod.com, 2 spelled out, dopeboyspod.com. Go to the subscribe section and join us on iTunes, and we'll see you there. There's a link to it in the description below, just right below. It's right there. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Sam Seder, and this is an Ann Coulter doll.
You should not be immigrating here. Yeah. Stay in your country and hate us.
For smart progressive talk and a little bit of this and even a little bit of that.
Mission accomplished.
Subscribe to our podcast, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and like us on Facebook to get some of our best video clips.